If your job at a healthcare facility includes disinfecting against viruses, you know prevention is the best medicine. And maintaining healthy spaces starts with a healthy cleaning routine. Grainger's world-class supply chain helps ensure you have the quality products you need when you need them. From disinfectants and cleaning supplies to personal protective equipment, so you can help deliver a clean bill of health. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Welcome to Make It Rain with Adam Shine on VSiN, the sports betting network.
It is a Tuesday. Make it rain. I am Keith Irizarry in for Adam. I'll be with you again on Friday as well. Locked and loaded. Good guest coming up in about 30 minutes. Zach Cohen. Got a lot of stories, some pieces of sound for you as well. Let's show you what we're going to be talking about. So the NBA Conference Finals tips off tonight. We'll break that one down. Got a few interesting player props for you, trying to do something a little bit different than just giving you, who's going to score an over-under on points. We're also going to talk hockey. I love me some NHL, work for the NHL Network, and Panthers, Hurricanes. That'll get kick-started. We'll look out on the West Coast as well. Back over to the NBA, Timberwolves and the Thunder. Zach Cohen, he's the one that's going to be joining us, like I said. And then, of course, I'm a baseball guy. I got baseball plays yesterday for MLB Network. Went 4-0 on our plays for the day. Let's see if we can have some wins today as well. And on the baseball side of things, by the way, big storylines to really dive into. The Boone brothers coaching against each other. Brett is now a batting coach or hitting coach for the Texas Rangers. And obviously Aaron Boone is the manager of the New York Yankees. Spencer Strider is back. You got Tariq Skubal has been absolute dominant, but he's going up against the Cardinals, and they've been absolutely on fire as of late. And then, of course, Walker Buehler is back on the mound. And I think that's where we should start, because cards on table, I'm in New York, I cover the New York teams a lot, so I do have a little bit more of a sense of what's going on with the Yankees and the Mets, and really I think we need to dive into the New York Mets. So a lot is being made right now of the Mets' struggles. Well, they're not scoring runs right now, 10 runs in the last 6 games, and Juan Soto's not hitting. I mean, he's batting 138 over his, last 8 games. Francisco Lindor, sub 100 in the last week and a half with his stick as well. So both of these guys are supposed to be your leaders. They're supposed to be your big-time hitters, and Alonso's still hitting. They're not hitting. Runners in scoring position, Mets are arguably the worst team in all of baseball when runners are in scoring position. And then you've got this story bubbling right now. So during the Yankees series, Sunday Night Baseball, apparently Juan Soto was supposed to be wearing the mic on his jersey, and he decided he didn't want to. After the game, he ended up not talking with the media. And there was already a little bit there, like, all right, what's going wrong? Is he soft? John Boy had a report out. Other reporters had reports out, right? And then last night, you have him hit a bomb towards the Green Monster, and you think it's going to go over. I honestly did too. Off the bat, I thought it was going over. And he kind of he enjoyed it. He watched it and ended up getting a single. That led us to this. Twitter goes crazy. Instagram goes crazy. Social media, what's going on? So let's talk about it. Carlos Mendoza was asked about Soto after the game. Here's his response.
Soto didn't bust it out of the box on that ball off the wall. Last night he had a play where he was a little slow getting out. Do you have to talk to him about any of that?
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk to him about it. Tonight, obviously, someone gets a hold of one and knows when he gets it, he's won, And he thought he had it, with the win and all that. And in this ballpark, or anywhere, but in particular in this one, with that wall right there, you got to get out of the box. So, we'll discuss that.
Last couple of nights, you've had a couple of plays where you were slow getting out of the box. Is that something you have to be more aware of?
No. I think being hustling very hard. If you see it today, you could tell.
All right, so I love Mendoza as a manager. It was a weird soundbite, right? At first the answer is, yeah, I'm going to have to talk to him. But then he says, anybody knows it's going out of the park, it's Juan. But then he says, in this park, you need to hustle out. So, yeah, I'm going to talk to him. And then you have Juan Soto obviously getting asked, it was about 20 minutes later of real time, by the way, asked, whether or not he needs to hustle. Have you not watched Juan Soto play baseball during his Major League Baseball career? This is what he is. He is uber, super, crazy talented. Hits bombs, walks, whatever. But he's always going to do that. If he hits a bomb, he looks at it. He doesn't bust it out of the box. You know what you paid over $700 million for. I think it's a lot. It's like much ado about nothing. I think it just happens to be the fact that Lindor and Soto are both in a slump at the exact same time. The Mets are in a little bit of a tough stretch right now. You played the Pirates, whatever, but you got the Yankees. Now you got the Red Sox, who are a decent team. Dodgers are coming up. Wait till next week. If this Mets team is still struggling when they're playing the Rockies, we have a much different conversation. Speaking of struggling right now, the LA Dodgers have lost 4 games at home for the first time since 2018. This is an LA Dodgers team that's still hitting. Pitching is a little bit of a struggle right now. Listen, Shohei Ohtani's got 5 home runs over his last, 6 games. He's got 17 on the season. This 4-game losing streak at least gives you pause about the LA Dodgers. But I really, I want to continue to come back to this, and I hope that everyone's listening on radio and, watching on YouTube, right? It's 162 games. Not a lot of teams will go through no struggles, no stumbles, no slumps. Relax, as Aaron Rodgers once said. Mookie Betts, by the way, hit 2 home runs yesterday. We'll continue to monitor that as maybe he starts heating up a little bit, looks healthier again, right, as the season has gone on. Shohei Ohtani is just otherworldly. I think each and every night you can play a prop from Ohtani. I'll have one for you. Spoiler alert, it's about the hits, the runs, the RBIs, and always a sprinkle and a home run for Shohei Ohtani. Ohtani right now is on the Aaron Judge 62 home run level. And what I mean by that is, when we were talking about betting Aaron Judge during his 62 home run season, you were never getting 2-to-1 odds on his home runs anymore. Right now, you typically want to get 3-to-1 odds on a home run, right? But if you got a masher, you're like, plus 250 and 5, right? But with Ohtani, if you could get plus 180, it's worth it. Just continue to wash, rinse, and repeat, and you're going to be happy with that. Let's go to the NBA. So you got the Timberwolves, you got the Thunder. They'll be getting kick-started right now. They split the season series 2 apiece. A lot of people are saying, Minnesota's been sitting around. They made short order in their previous series of the Golden State Warriors. And as for the Thunder, had to go 7 against the Denver Nuggets. Is this a letdown spot for OKC? I don't think so. You're at home. There's a reason you won 60, plus games on the season. I think there are a few ways to play this game. First and foremost, 7.5-point favorites for the Thunder. It's hovered anywhere between 7.5 and 8.5. I think this first game does stay close. So if you're a Minnesota backer, I think, if you were lucky enough to get 8.5, you have your plus 8.5. If you were lucky enough, like me earlier in the day, that you can get plus 7.5, you got plus 7.5. Now it's 7. So we're seeing this get bet down a little bit, whether it's the bettors betting it down or whether there's adjustment to the number and people start thinking that maybe Minnesota is more of a game team in this matchup. As for this series, I like the Thunder to win, and I think there's multitude of ways to play this. I don't think this is a quick series. I think we're getting 6. I think we're possibly getting 7 games. So you split your units. You go Thunder at 6 at plus 390. You go Thunder and 7 at plus 410. And you're going to, as long as one of those two happens, you walk away, you're very happy. Now, if you want to be as adventurous, you could just go, the series will go 6 games, get you a plus 225. The series will go 7 games, a plus 250. So if you're kind of on the ledge right now and you're just unsure as to whether it's going to be the Thunder or the Timberwolves to win this game and win the series, those are 2 ways you could play it. I like the Thunder, so I would play the Thunder to win in 6, Thunder to win in 7, split your unit, walk away with money. It's not going to be the biggest bang for your buck, but you're going to walk away with positive as long as that happens. I'd be remiss, again, if we don't just at least sneak in a little bit of conversation about the Pacers and the Knicks. And Knicks fans have been getting a lot of hate as of late. We'll talk about this series later in the show today and, of course, along through the week. But we all saw that Pacers fan that happened to be walking through Times Square after the Knicks had lost to the Celtics. Knicks fans started pelting him, hitting him with garbage bags. Well, Pat McAfee is one of the best in the business. Love watching him on ESPN doing his thing. He went out of his way to find Hans Perez and invited him on the show, and then Perez got a surprise as well.
I want to personally bring you and a +1 out here to come to Game 4 here in Indiana. I'll bring you guys out here, put you guys up, get you guys seats to the game. The Pacers, everybody in our organization wants to make sure you're taken care of. All the teams excited to meet you. It's all we've been talking about. Everybody's seen the video. So, man, we want to bring you out here. And, man, I'm really excited about that. So
you in, Hans? I believe that's on Tuesday. You're able to make the trip. I know scheduling, obviously, as a firefighter or something.
You know, I gotta talk to the guys. I mean, I'm pretty sure we could work something out.
And just a few moments later, McAfee then, interjected that it better be first class since, Halliburton just signed that major contract. Yeah, I think broad stroke, this is going to be an excellent series. This has the potential to be that old school Pacers-Knicks series that we used to see. This is going to be, potentially like a bloodbath at times. And again, this is another one. I think the Knicks win. I would take Knicks in 6 at +590, Knicks in 7 at +370. Again, split your unit. But again, if you don't want to pick a team, you can go 6 games +220, 7 games +186. So a couple of different ways that you can attack this one. As we continue to cruise along here, we got hockey on the other side, more basketball around 3:30 p.m. Eastern time, and then we'll finish things off with some baseball. This is Make It Rain right here on VSiN.
If your job at a healthcare facility includes disinfecting against viruses, you know prevention is the best medicine. And maintaining healthy spaces starts with a healthy cleaning routine. Grainger's world-class supply chain helps ensure you have the quality products you need when you need them. From disinfectants and cleaning supplies to personal protective equipment, so you can help deliver a clean bill of health. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You're watching Make It Rain on VSiN, the sports betting network.
And smarter bets start here and last all year long with VSiN Pro. Right now, sign up for your annual subscription. Get 14 months for just $199 when you use the promo code PRO. That's 2 extra months for free. For less than 50 cents a day, you become a VSiN Pro subscriber today. This is what you get. Instant access to a daily email with all the best bets from our hosts and the guests. Real-time betting splits from DraftKings and Circa. 24/7 video access on the VSiN Watch app. You know you want that one. Plus, full access to VSiN.com's analytics, betting trends, and expert breakdowns. Do not wait. Go to VSiN.com/subscribe. You use the promo code PRO to lock in the offer. It is VSiN.com/subscribe. Are you all ready for some hockey? Because I am. So I was lucky enough. I was on the call of Game 5. The Hurricanes and the Capitals for the NHL being streamed out there in Australia. And I get a chance to cover hockey day in and day out. And I think there are storylines galore from both of these series. Cards on table again. Second time I'm going to use my cards on table one. NHL Network, before the playoffs, we have to give out what we think is going to happen. So far, my Final Four is still intact. It is a perfect Final Four. I have going forward, before all of this, I now had the Stars beating the Oilers, I had the Panthers beating the Hurricanes, and then I have the Stars beating the Panthers for the Cup. We'll see how it all plays out. All right, so, but from a betting standpoint, clearly things can change. That's, like just how you pick your March Madness. That would be your bracket, right? But then you got to find your little edges and whatnot. I still think the Panthers are going to beat the Hurricanes in this series. And, I think you look, the Hurricanes have been playing excellent, right? And they have such a good brand of hockey controlling the pace. It is like every hockey game is played the way they want it to be played. This is what they do. And it's the second time in 3 years that these two teams will meet. And, it was 2 years ago that the Panthers swept the Hurricanes. And, I remember Rod Brindamore talking about this, the Carolina Hurricanes head coach, talking about saying, it stings because you get swept, but every game was nip and tuck and it was close and really could have gone either way. All right, so let's just, put the horse before the cart, whatever. Panthers win the series -125. I think it's the play. It's the smartest play here. The Florida Panthers remind me a lot of the Tampa Bay Lightning the second year that they were going for their back-to-back cup, where they almost slow played it through the regular season. Like, that's kind of the vibe the Florida Panthers have given you all year long. And I think you also have to look between the pipes. And as good as Freddie Anderson has been for the Carolina Hurricanes, and technically, statistically, he's the best netminder in the postseason. He's an older goalie, want to say 36 years old, and he's had his ups and downs in his career. You wonder if there is a regression to the means for him. On the other side, Sergei Bobrovsky, Bob, has been so stinking good, like ridiculously good, and only getting better as the postseason has gone on. Over the last 4 games, 3-1 record, a 1.01 goals against average, 95 save percentage, .957 basically to be exact, right? The Panthers, they score and they play defense. It just feels like they are the right side on this one. Now, the reason why I do think this series can go a little bit further, and I think that we can talk about that as well, Hurricanes are great at home. 5-0 at home during this postseason, outscoring opponents 21-8 during the postseason at home. So there's something to be said there too. I think, all right, so another avenue here would be, if you wanted to get into the plus money, take the Panthers to win the series 4-2. You get 4-1 odds to that one. Obviously, same thing that I told you with the NBA series. If you want, you can go 4-2, you can go 4-3, and again, it works a lot better if you pick your side. I think the Panthers win. So the easiest play, the best, just easy one, is Panthers win the series -125. It covers all bases, right? If for some reason it's a sweep again, boom, you're good. I think the Panthers are going to win in either 6 or 7. I think 6 feels like the best play there, so we go 4-1. The Panthers and the Hurricanes, it's very similar playing styles as well. So the defenses, they're going to suffocate you. And then on offense, they're both the kind of team that's going to kind of just throw shots on net, get it on there as much as possible, and hope that your netminder makes a mistake. So I think there are some players that you look at. For me, it's all about Andrei Svechnikov, who technically had the game winner. I know that Seth Jarvis tapped in an empty netter in game number 5 into Capitals, but Svechnikov, an absolute laser from the near side, boom, top shelf money, right? Over 2.5 shots on goal in game number 1, -122, very digestible. So the Canes are out shooting their opponents by more than 9 shots per game. We love that. As for Andre, 3 or more shots on goal in each of his last 3 games, leads all Hurricanes skaters in the category during the postseason as well. Now, here's something that you may say, Keith, this doesn't make sense. What's your story you're telling me here? And again, I hope everyone's enjoying this on radio and on video. It's Make It Rain. I'm Keith Irizarry in for Adam Shine on this Tuesday afternoon. So I'm going to also say that Andrei Svechnikov is your top goal scorer. Again, all your apps, you can scroll through and find some fun stuff for the postseason, plus 750. So it doesn't make sense, right? The Panthers are going to win the series. Keith, why would you pick Svechnikov as your top goal scorer? Florida's going to spread it around. They've got a boatload of players that can score. When you look at the Hurricanes, they have really leaned on Svechnikov throughout this postseason. So at plus 750, crazy good value right there. He leads the team. He's got 8 goals in the 10 postseason games that they have played. Throughout the first portion of this, the first 2 series for the Carolina Hurricanes, he is first in shots through 60 minutes for all remaining players. Literally, that means West Coast, East Coast, doesn't matter. So there it is. I think you play Svechnikov, play him today for your shots on goal, play the top goal scorer before you lose this great value of plus 750, and then a multitude of ways to play. I think the Panthers win. And that's how you break that one down. Quickly, I want to sneak in the Oilers and the Stars. Another rematch here. Star power galore, right? And that's not a play on the Dallas Stars name, but you got McDavid and Draisaitl and a bunch of dudes over there in Edmonton. Mikko Rantanen, Moose, has been a godsend for this team, a former Cup winner with Colorado. And obviously now having Miro Heiskanen back is key for this Dallas Stars team. And as you watched him play the last couple of games, they ramped up his minutes. He is a difference maker for the Dallas Stars. And Jake Ottinger, so for as good as the netminders have been on the other side in the Eastern Conference, Ottinger has been fantastic. Stuart Skinner's a little bit up and down for Edmonton. I like the Stars to win this series. And again, even money, I'll take it. The Dallas Stars, this is not a, hey, Keith, well, you said Dallas was going to win the Cup before, so you're just rocking with them. No, they are healthy now. And if Mikko Rantanen is going to be having hat tricks in multiple games of multiple points, then there you go. So your X factor for me, there's 2 of them. One is Miro Heiskanen. How healthy is he? What is he giving you? And he seems like he's healthy, seems like he's going to give you a lot out there on the ice. The second one is Ottinger. And I talked about how great he's been, basically about a 92% save percentage, 918 is his save percentage. So really good there. Now, I will give you my fear for the Dallas Stars because I think I need to be as transparent as anyone. They're not good on the road. 2-4 record on the road. So they need to probably find a way. They're going to need to find a way. Steal a game on the road. Can they steal a game on the road? All right. The next thing, and again, if you're going to follow along here, I'm going to give you a whole roadmap that's going to lead you to hopefully some wins and make you some money. But you're going to say my mind is blown because, again, Keith, I don't think it makes sense. So if you're picking the Stars to win, obviously, the top points leader would be from the Dallas Stars. No, it's Connor McDavid. And again, minus 105 for the best player in the world. He's the play. Minus 105, your points leader, even if Edmonton loses. It's too good a value for this guy. A point in 9 of 11 postseason games, 112 points during 64 games that he has played in the postseason over the last 4 years. He may not always be the goal scorer. Draisaitl might score. Some of the other guys might score. But McDavid is always involved in the scoring. So take him as your points leader, minus 105. I mean, I wouldn't be mad at you if you said I want to rock with Mikko Rantanen. I do wonder if there's a little bit of a step back from what we saw this previous series from Mikko Rantanen. Nonetheless, I say Stars win. I give you some X factors. You're going to look at Ottinger saves each game as well. That's a prop that you're going to pay attention to. And then Connor McDavid, he will be your points leader. On the other side, Zach Cohen joins us to break down all things NBA on Make It Rain.
You're watching Make It Rain on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Betting on sports, why not try the races? First Bet lets you wager on hundreds of horse races every day from top tracks across the U.S. and around the world. Sign up at firstbet.com. That is firstbet.com, the number one betting.com. There you go. All right, so what you're going to use is the promo code VSiN200. Claim 20% rebate for your first 60 days, up to $200. Again, firstbet.com. Back here. Make it rain. Keith Irizarry with you on VSiN. Love when we can head to the progressive guest line and bring in our guy, Zach Cohen, VSiN writer. He is a betting analyst. Follow him on socials, on Twitter, on X, betting on X. Zach joins us now. Zach, we got the Timberwolves. We have the Thunder getting started. And let's begin there. You have a ticket on the Minnesota Timberwolves, so is that just swaying your vision right now on how you want to play this series?
A little bit. I find it really hard to handicap the series prices because I'm always so invested in the futures market, and I have a few Western Conference winning tickets for the Timberwolves. I have one on them to win the NBA Finals. That is clouding my judgment a little bit because I have been in on this Minnesota team since way back in December. Having said that, if I were playing this series straight up, I didn't have anything going into it, I would take the Timberwolves plus 2.5 games at minus 160. I wouldn't take them to win the series. I respect this Thunder team. I think that we've seen that there's a gear that they can reach on the defensive end of the floor that other teams simply can't match. So, it's a scary series in a lot of different ways, but I do think Minnesota will win at least 2 games.
All right, so when you handicap this game, so you got Minnesota winning at least 2. I do as well. Honestly, I think the Thunder will end up winning this series. So I talked about maybe, taking the Thunder in 6, taking the Thunder in 7, or just taking the series in total, just get it to 6 or 7 as well. So when you look at Minnesota, how can they win this series? What are some of the X factors?
They're a really good defense when it comes to three-point shooting. They do a really good job of contesting threes. They do a good job of forcing you into the threes that you don't really want to take. And the Thunder are a team that we've now seen 2 postseasons in a row. The three-point shooting isn't reliable. I think that the best shooter on this team is Aaron Wiggins. He comes off the bench, doesn't play big minutes. Lou Dort is a guy that's a shaky three-point shooter, but he's maybe the only one on the entire roster that's confident in big moments. I don't think that you could trust this Oklahoma City team right now to knock down threes. And if they can't do that, that puts a lot of pressure on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who I think is going to have some trouble in this series. I know that he torched them in the regular season. He averaged 35 points per game against the Timberwolves during the regular season this year. But Minnesota has some length to throw on him with McDaniels. They have one of the best drop defenders in the entire league in Rudy Gobert. I just think they're going to get a lot of good contests on his mid-range jumpers. And if he's not knocking down, off the dribble threes at a pretty high clip, it's going to be tough for them to score. So it's going to come down to Minnesota scoring, and I think that that's going to be, an Anthony Edwards thing. Edwards is a player that can be very turnover prone in Oklahoma City, number 1 in the postseason in turnover rate for opponents. So they can turn you over. They can get easy buckets off of that. But if Edwards does a good job of kind of protecting the ball, I think Minnesota's going to have success offensively.
You talked about turnover, so I was going to go a different route, but I'll deviate from the plan here. So one of my plays tonight, I like SGA over 1.5 steals, plus money. I saw it at plus 126 on FanDuel. 2 or more steals, 4 of his last 5 games and 6 of his last 8, due to the fact that Minnesota does turn the ball over a lot, about 15 times per game. Do you like that play?
I do, because not only is Edwards going to cough it up, but we saw, in the Nuggets series, just how quick they were to swarm Nikola Jokic when he had the ball. And if you can make Jokic, uncomfortable with the ball in his hands, you could definitely do that to Rudy Gobert. So I think there's going to be a few plays where SGA just capitalizes on some shaky plays from the Timberwolves offense, which there will be. Even if they do win this series somehow, there will be some moments where we kind of wonder how they even got here, because Minnesota's offense can look ugly at times. So I definitely like the over on that steals play. One of the player props that I'm looking at for tonight is Dante DiVincenzo over 2.5 rebounds, which is, I believe, minus 140 right now. I think that in this series, we're going to see Finch, turn to Dante DiVincenzo and Nickeil Alexander-Walker over Mike Conley, just because the Thunder might be small when it comes to the power forward and center positions. They're big everywhere else. Conley's going to have a lot of trouble staying on the court if he's not knocking down threes. I think they're going to opt to play DiVincenzo and Nickeil Alexander-Walker a little bit more just because they're bigger for the guard position. And DiVincenzo is a good rebounder for a guard, had 4 rebounds in his only meeting with the Thunder this season.
Well, if you like DiVincenzo to get time out there on the floor, I'm just looking quickly on my app. 3 or more made threes for DiVincenzo, about plus 150, wouldn't be bad as well. I like that play a lot from DiVincenzo for you for the rebounds. I'll give you another rebound prop. Anthony Edwards, it seems like, and you tell me if you disagree, but it seems like if his shot's not on, he's not the guy that's going to wallow in the corner. He's going to do the other things. And, I mean, he's averaging 8 rebounds per game during this postseason, 7 or more rebounds, 7 times. I'll take the over 6.5 rebounds, again, plus money.
Completely agree with you. I actually, that's one of the reasons I love Ant now. I think that, we've seen him, struggle in some of these postseason games, but he never lets it, detract him from impacting the game. But he's a really good defender. People don't give him enough credit on that side of the ball. But yeah, he's definitely going to be rebounding in this series. Like I said, this Thunder team is big across the board. Finch is going to be telling these guys, you all need to chip in on the boards or we are going to lose the series. So I definitely think Edwards is going to make a mark there.
Again, joining us on the progressive guest line is Zach Cohen, VSiN writer and betting analyst on X, on Twitter. Betting on X is his handle. All right, so if you had to bet for a Western Conference MVP, who would get the nod for you?
Man, it's tough because, I'd like the Wolves to win the series, but I would say it's probably most likely SGA. It's just not really bettable at the number it's at, in my opinion. I think that, you might as well just bet on them to win the series. What if someone else steps up and takes it from him? I don't know. It's a tough market to get in on. One that I didn't mention earlier is I do like Gobert to lead the series in rebounds, which was minus 160. That's a play that I think a lot of people are expecting him to be played off the floor in this series. I don't know if the Thunder are going to be able to do that. Like I just mentioned before, the three-point struggles are a real concern for me. Chet Holmgren just shot 22% in the series against Denver. I think that they're going to be okay with him taking the occasional open three. And I don't think Gobert is going to be able to be played off by either him or Hartenstein. So I think Gobert is going to be on the floor, making, his mark on the rebounds. And I do think that, we've seen Oklahoma City kind of struggle keeping teams off the offensive glass throughout the course of the postseason. They're 13th in opponent offensive rebound rate. Gobert's a really good offensive rebounder. So I do like that play at minus 160. I see a lot of people kind of saying Hartenstein or Chet at plus money odds, but I think, taking some juice and going with Gobert there makes a lot of sense.
But I also think it's interesting. You know how a lot of people just box score hunt? You could have easily looked and go, well, Naz Reid dominated in the first two matchups this regular season. Randall wasn't playing. There were other players not playing as well. Naz Reid's number, I saw his point total set at the over-under of 10.5. It feels like the over, but who knows how much he plays. Let's swing it over to the East really quick. Pacers and Knicks get started tomorrow night with, 24 hours before that happens, or I guess 30 hours before it happens. How do you see that series?
I like the over 5.5 games at minus 170. Again, it's another juicy one, but I'm willing to take it if I think that the implied probability is there, and I really do think it is. I think that the Pacers are just being slept on a little bit when it comes to the price in this series. I think the Knicks ultimately pull this out because I do think, Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby have woken up as that wing duo, the Knicks have really invested in the offseason. I think that those two kind of struggled to find their footing defensively together over the course of the regular season. That's why New York kind of underperforms a little. But we've now seen those two just really ramp things up defensively. And I really like Anunoby as a matchup for Pascal Siakam. And I think if the game is close late in the series, late in the games, I trust Jalen Brunson a little bit more than I do Tyrese Haliburton, even though Haliburton's clutch time numbers are also astronomical. I just think that the slightest edges in this series go to New York, but I do not see them winning this really easily. I think, the Pacers will kind of handle their business in Indiana and force this to at least 6 or 7.
So my play in this one, if we believe 6 or 7, again, I'm going to go Knicks in 6 at plus 590. I'll also take the Knicks in 7 at plus 370, split the unit and figure out, just be happy that the Knicks win and everything would be good. I don't know, cards on table again. Yeah, I'm from New York, so we're going to be rooting for the Knicks here. Yes.
Yeah. I should mention maybe this one is one to look at more so than the other series. The player prop markets for this series. The series leader in three-pointers is interesting just because I don't think it's a guarantee that Brunson's going to knock down a lot of threes.
If you work in quality control at a candy factory, you know strict safety regulations come with the job. It's why you partner with Grainger. Grainger helps you find the high-quality and compliant products your business needs to inspect, detect, and help correct issues. And the sweetest part is, everyone gets a product that's as safe to eat as it is delicious. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Haliburton's a player that plays really well at home, sometimes struggles on the road. I could see this being one that goes to a role player that's available, at a plus money odds. So I'm thinking Aaron Nesmith is a guy that could be one that's worth a look. I could see him knocking down 2 or 3 threes a game over the course of this 7-game series and just kind of, quietly getting to the leader spot.
Zach, you were awesome. Neesmith, that's a good one. I like that. That's a little bit of a deeper dive. A guy that struggles during the regular season, been dominant during the postseason with the three-point shot. Zach Cohen, again, VSiN writer, betting analyst on X. It is Betting on X. Always great catching up, man. We'll talk again soon.
Thank you.
There he is, Zach Cohen. I am Keith Irizarry. This is Make It Rain. When we get back, I got a boatload of baseball plays for you. And, of course, our best bets. Keep it locked right here on VSiN.
You're watching Make It Rain on VSiN, the sports betting network.
The NBA playoffs are heating up, and our partner Profit X is offering the best odds all playoffs long. Profit X is a peer-to-peer sports exchange available in 40 or more states. You will be able to make your sports picks against other groups of fans rather than against sports books. Exchanges guarantees that you get the best odds on average by 10 to 20%. You can even request your own odds. You download Profit X today with code VSiN. Earn up to $200 in profit cash over your first month. I mean, it's a slam dunk. I don't understand why you wouldn't do it. Again, Keith Irizarry with you on this Tuesday afternoon. It is Make It Rain. I'm in for Adam Shine. I'll be back with you again on Friday as well. All right, so what do we do so far? We broke down basketball. We broke down hockey. We did baseball stories. Now we got to do the plays from the diamond. So we're going to start things off with the Rangers and the Yankees. I think it's a fun story. The Boone brothers, yep, they're, coaching against each other. Brett as a hitting coach for the Texas Rangers. Aaron as the manager for the New York Yankees. Patrick Corbin versus Will Warren. I preface this by saying this. It is no longer a Patrick Corbin day. He's actually been pretty decent this year. With that being said, still going to pick against Corbin, and I'm going to go with my guy, Cody Bellinger. So we're going to go Bellinger over the 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs at -135. It is something he has topped in 3 consecutive games. He has gone over this in 7 of his last 10 games. By the way, Cody Bellinger, I guess it was kind of a funny story, coming off the Subway Series, how Juan Soto was struggling and Bellinger was dominant during that Subway Series. Bellinger has a 13-game hitting streak. Cody Bellinger is looking like he did in Chicago a few years ago. This was the thing that was going to lessen the blow of losing Juan Soto, him and potentially Paul Goldschmidt. And then Goldschmidt has actually been really good. So, Bellinger also, by the way, has good numbers in his career against Patrick Corbin. 9 for 23, which is almost a 400 batting average. Has a double and 5 walks. The reason I bring up the walks, and again, from a betting standpoint, most of us, it used to be, are you going to bet a home run? You're going to bet a hit, let's say, like an RBI or a run, right? All separate things. Then the hot thing was, let's bet total bases. And I do still love betting total bases. But now, hits, run, RBIs. The reason I like hit, run, RBIs, if Bellinger walks and then scores, I got one of my things I need to happen. Now all I need is a hit somewhere or an RBI somewhere, whatever it may be. There's more options for you there to hit. Now, you're going to pay a little bit more. It's going to be -135 instead of like -105, let's say. But sometimes in the long run, it's a little bit more worth it. Over to the Phillies and the Rockies yesterday on MLB Network. I gave out the over for the Phillies on the team total of 6.5. It was scary as we headed into the 8th. It hit. I gave out Trey Turner. It hit. Jesus Luzardo goes for the Phillies. Antonio Senzatella, he goes for the Rockies. And again, I'm going to pick against Colorado. So this time, I think you could go with Trey Turner if you wanted to. I'm going to go Bryce Harper here. We're going to go total bases, over 1.5, -135. He's got good numbers in his career against Senzatella. 5 for 15, 333 batting average, has a pair of home runs, has a double, has 3 walks. I throw that in there as well in case you decide you want to go hits, runs, RBIs. Unfortunately for him, it's set at 2.5, not 1.5 for Bryce Harper. So again, watch that. I'll bring back that number in just a few moments. He's gone over the 1.5 total bases 3 of his last 4 games, 4 of his last 6 games, and well, it's the Colorado Rockies. Sorry, Colorado fans. Colorado, beautiful place to be. Cool-looking uniforms. Really bad baseball team. As we sit here on Tuesday, May 20th, they give up the most runs per game. They give up the most hits. They give up the most blah, da, 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 da. So there are other ways to attack this. Again, if you wanted to go team total again for the Phillies, I wouldn't be mad at you here. If you want to look and try to find a home run prop, I wouldn't be mad at you. I'm going to play it a little bit safer, I think, with Bryce Harper. Go the over 1.5 total bases. Angels and the Athletics. This is a case of Keith Irizarry going back to the well. And when you see someone who is one of the hottest hitters in all of baseball, I like deep dives. I like to find names that you don't necessarily know, but sometimes it's just too simple to be put out there. You might as well continue to roll with it. Taylor Ward, over 1.5 bases, plus money, plus 110. Are we watching what Ward has done over the last week and a half? So over the last 7 games, he's got 5 home runs, Ward does. 2 or more bases, 6 of his last 7. As for Gunnar Hoglund, okay, he's fine. But how about in his last outing? 7 hits allowed, 4 runs allowed. He can get got. Hendricks goes for the Angels. By the way, I think there are plays for some of the A's players like Brent Rooker if you wanted to go against Kyle Hendricks. But I'll just go with Ward. Over 1.5 gets me plus money, and I'm very happy. Astros and the Rays, another game that was, I latch on to. Walter and Littell on the mound. Don't necessarily care to dive into any of those pitchers for any of the pitcher props. I like Jeremy Pena. I think you could look at Altuve if you wanted to. I think you could look at Yordan Alvarez if you wanted to. But Jeremy Pena, even money, total bases, and also a sprinkle on a home run at 5-1 odds. Littell, 3. Against Littell, he's 3 for 7 with the stick. He's got a home run. Coming off a 3-hit game, 2 or more bases, 4 of his last 10 games. That's not that great. But Littell has given up 13 home runs this season. He's allowed 6 to lefties, 7 to righties. That's why I brought up some lefty batters. I brought up some righty batters. I'm going to go Jeremy Pena. Over 1.5. Probably the marquee game of the night, Diamondbacks and the Dodgers. Dodgers struggling right now. They'll have Yamamoto on the mound trying to stop the bleeding. Ryan Nelson, he's on the bump for Arizona, and he's been okay. Nothing special. This is another one. Let's go back to the well. We're going to go Shohei Ohtani. This we're going to go with the over 2.5 hits, runs, RBIs. It is minus 110. I did it yesterday on MLB Network. Same thing. We'll do it again. Also, sprinkle on a home run at plus 180. So he's topped this number, the 2.5 hits, runs, RBIs, 5 of his last 6, 8 of his last 11. We love those numbers. 5 home runs over his last 6 games. Love those numbers as well. 10 home runs and 21 RBIs over his last 16 games. Shohei Ohtani is on one. And when Shohei Ohtani is one of the best players in the world and he is on one, you roll with him. Again, wash, rinse, repeat. Why wouldn't you? It is time now for our best bets. Best bets are brought to you by G-Bank. Get the G-Bank Visa Signature Card today. Most credit cards treat sportsbook and gaming transactions as cash advances. That's even when you put your own money on your card. G-Bank, it treats the gaming transactions as purchases, so you're saving up to 3 to 5% on cash advances, your fees, all of that on your gaming transactions right there. Also with G-Bank, you're earning 1% cashback rewards on all eligible sportsbook and gaming transactions and 2% cashback. Apply now at vsin.com/gbank. That is vsin.com/gbank. Time now for our best bets. All right, so all of these we've at least talked about briefly. I'll give you a little bit more information. Svechnikov, we're going to go over 2.5 shots on goal, minus 122. The Canes out shooting their opponents by 9 per game during the postseason. And Svechnikov has 3 or more shots on goal each of the past 3 games. Reminder to all you bettors out there, it's shots on goal, not shots, so just make sure you know that. Bryce Harper, just told you we're going to go over 1.5 bases for him, minus 135. Good numbers against Senzatella. And the Rockies, I mean, honestly, It's a struggle bus all year long. And now let's go back to the NBA. Didn't get a chance to really dive into this that much when we had Zach Cohen on. Just going to go over the 6.5 rebounds for Anthony Edwards. It's plus money, barely over even money, plus 104. 8 rebounds per game. During the postseason, that's 10 games, so it's not a small sample size. You're actually getting a little bit of a larger sample size there. 7 or more rebounds 7 times during this postseason. And again, something that we watch with Anthony Edwards that isn't always the case with superstars. When his shot isn't falling, if OKC is focusing on stopping him offensively, he will find ways to be involved in other ways. And that has been rebounding for him. It's been pretty awesome to watch him play because he can do a little bit of everything out there. Reminder to stay tuned after Make It Rain. Follow the money. Mitch and Paulie, today's show, they're going to have Circa owner Derek Stevens on VSiN Primetime. You got Matt and Tim at 7 p.m. Eastern, and then always stick around for Cashing Out with our guy G-Unit, Greg Peterson, at 11 p.m. Eastern Time. Greg is the man. He's probably out there on, I don't know, mile 13 or 14 of his daily run. Dude just never stops and never sleeps. For Michael Cohen and everyone behind the scenes, this has been Make It Rain. Hopefully, we get a little profit from all these bets we gave out. Enjoy the games tonight. I'm Keith Irizarry.
If your job at a healthcare facility includes disinfecting against viruses, you know prevention is the best medicine. And maintaining healthy spaces starts with a healthy cleaning routine. Grainger's world-class supply chain helps ensure you have the quality products you need when you need them. From disinfectants and cleaning supplies to personal protective equipment, so you can help deliver a clean bill of health. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.